UFC 296 full reaction slash post event breakdown. I'm starting with the prelims, early prelims, making my way up to the main card. Let's see how I did. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. I was saying night of the dog, maybe. It was not the night of the dog. I had some picks that were just completely fried. I switched up on some people I shouldn't have switched up on, and it just got spooky. Starting off, heavyweight bout, Martin Buday versus Shamil Gaziev. I went with Martin Buday, and that was the worst pick of the card, honestly. That was the worst pick of the card. Like, I also went with Lucas Almeida in the next fight, who got brutally knocked out in the first round. But I was not happy about that, but I was satisfied at least with Andre Fili getting a tremendous win. Shamil Gaziev looked amazing. I think some people are still saying, he didn't look the best. He actually looked fucking amazing, really. He deserved that performance of the night because he absolutely violated and kind of exposed Martin Buday. I thought Martin Buday was way better than he actually is. I thought he had a lot more heart. I had seen him hit before, a little bit, pressured a little bit. And Shamil, I really just wasn't sold on all of his, on all the fights that I had seen before. He was violating people. His contender fight was pretty good too, but he got taken down like right away, even though he rocked the fucking dude. That's really all I have to say about that one. This man Martin Buday threw maybe one punch. He thought about throwing 5 total, maybe. He thought about it. Like, not he threw it. He thought about throwing maybe 5 total. I don't know how many he threw, but it felt like 1 or 2. Man got a standing TKO'd. Shit happens. Moving on. Again, I said heavyweights are tweaky. I specifically said, too, either dude could win this, and it could be dog shit. If you were rooting for Martin Buday, it was dog shit. But a lot of people actually had Gaziev. I was slacking on that one. I thought I knew something that people didn't. Hey, fuck it. Going on to the next one. Andre Touchy Fili versus Lucas Almeida. I switched up crazy. I picked Andre Fili, and I should have stuck with my gut, honestly, because tremendous knockout. I think a minute and a half in to the first round, just caught Lucas Almeida standing straight up like a fucking pole in the ground, like it was spooky hours, right on the chin, cracked him, sat him down, finished him. Wonderful victory for Andre Touchy Fili. Nice little dance moves at the end. I always love it. You love to see it. Lucas Almeida, while I thought he looked very good in his Trizano fight, really what was spooky to me here was his striking defense. Man, like I said, like literally when he got knocked out by Andre, he was standing looking at him like this. Tough. Shit's tough. Moving on. So starting out 0-2, and I was like, you know what? I've gotten the first 2 picks wrong before many a time. Early prelims should get spooky. But then the next one was, in a word, cancerous. Flyweight bout, Tagir Ulanbekov versus Cody Durden. I had picked Cody Durden, the dog, in this one. I really thought that his hands would be the deciding factor of this one. And they almost were, actually, despite Tagir cracking Cody one time in the first round. I actually think that Cody later on was getting the better of those exchanges. And then the difference became the grappling. Cody Durden, phenomenal grappling, insane heart, good survival instinct to get out of submissions, just to stay alive. Unfortunately, just got caught at the end by Tagir. There's one thing that really pissed me off about this fight, and it was the blatant fucking cheating. It was the blatant fucking fence grabbing. Not even fence grabbing. It was, even though it literally was a fence grab. Tagir Ulanbekov maybe 6 or 7 times. I wasn't keeping track actively. I just remember seeing it a shit ton, and I started screaming, actually, at this man Chris Tione, who I actually enjoy. I think he's a good ref. Chris Tione, right? Or first off, I'm getting ahead of myself. Tagir Ulanbekov hooks his feet while he's basically wrapped up on the back in the backpack position, has a body lock standing up. He's hooked onto Cody Durden's back, riding him. He hooks his feet, his toes into the cage and props himself up. Right? And, I get doing it once or twice, maybe even 3 times, but literally it was like 6 or 7 times. Chris Tione is telling him to stop. He's like, don't grab the cage, don't blah 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 blah. The man's name is Tagir Ulanbekov. He doesn't understand a fucking word you're saying, okay? They had the translator in after that fight. That man doesn't speak English. He might not even know where the fuck he's fighting, okay? Don't tell him don't do that. You literally have to go over and stop. And once he does it for the 7th fucking time, and he stayed on the back the entire time throwing up submissions, take that motherfucking position away from that rat bitch. That rat motherfucker. He's nice. Tagir Ulanbekov is nice. And yet I think that performance was tarnished in my eyes, and I'm actually surprised not as many people are talking about it. That was absolute rat garbage horse shit from Tagir. Fuck that dude. I'm praying on his downfall. For real. Praying. You got what's coming for you, buddy. Something's coming. Something's coming. And again, that smoked me to 0-3, and I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Bad start. Until the next one came up. Casey O'Neill versus Ariana Lipski. A nice little underdog win for Ariana Lipski. Again, I based this fight solely off of record. Casey O'Neill I've seen fight. Ariana Lipski I've seen fight. I don't follow them too closely. I was really relying on their stats, actually. You know, I also had a spooky note written down about this fight that Casey O'Neill is ranked, you know. However, I wrote an asterisk next to that. In women's MMA, sometimes that literally means fuck all. That could mean anything. Like, the ranking isn't necessarily for fighting. It might be, like, their personality. It might be, like, their looks. Who knows? Who knows what these rankings are based off of, but they're not always based on fighting, and you should remember that. Because Casey O'Neill got exposed. Brutally exposed. I don't know what the fuck she's been doing in the gym this entire time, but hey, congratulations to Ariana Lipski. Phenomenal finish. I'm glad that you didn't get finished, because she has been finished multiple times in her career. That sounded salty as fuck, but really that was what I based it off of. I based it off of Ariana Lipski getting finished by KO TKO multiple times, Casey O'Neill having a couple KOs TKOs on her record. Shit is just rough, man. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough. You gotta take that nickname out too, King. If you're getting your ass beaten, like, chill with the king shit. Chill with the king shit. Moving on. Bantamweight fight. Brian Kelleher versus Cody No Love. Hanging with the boys, some would say. Garbrandt. And he really was hanging with the boys. I had actually hit the little reverse on this one. Originally, I was going with Brian Kelleher, and I was saying, you know, what about Cody's chin? Would you gamble on it? Would you just bite down on the mouthpiece, tuck your chin, and swing and try to take him out? Brian Kelleher couldn't do that. That was the thing. He couldn't do that. And the horn of Cody Garbrandt sounds in the UFC one last time. Maybe not the last time, even. I thought Cody actually looked pretty decent. There was, on the knockout, actually, he did get touched. They traded, I believe. And that trade was a little spooky for Cody, I think. Like, he didn't react. He took it well, you know. I think maybe better than a lot of people would expect him to. But he didn't go down. He didn't really react. You know, he didn't get stunned, didn't get wobbled. Just got the finish. Face planted Brian Kelleher. That was that. Good for Cody. Originally I went with Brian, swapped up to Cody. Cody pulled through, and then I was like, thank God. Because after fucking Ariana Lipski won, I was like, holy shit. I've been a winning fucking gambler. I usually chill somewhere around 2/3 of my picks are right. I've recorded 2 previous videos that I never posted, and on the one fucking video I post, I might get I was like, wow, this is gonna be like the one night where the stars align, the planets align, and I'm gonna get every fight wrong. That's what I was thinking. I was 0-4 to start this motherfucker. Shit was rough. But then Cody saved it. Thank you, Cody. Changing us to 1-4. Absolutely wonderful. Moving on. This is actually a point where I had left to go finish watching these fights with my friends. You know, I try to put them on to some fights. So I took my whole little setup and moved over. I had to miss... I missed this fight, actually. And, you know, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, I guess. I haven't rewatched it yet. I literally came in, turned it on in the last minute and a half. Both women absolutely bloodied and battered. Telltale signs of a war. Telltale signs of a war. Everyone... Joe was talking about it, announcers talking about it. So hats off to both women for putting on an absolute performance. I have not watched the fight in all honesty, but it just looked like they deserved that fight of the night bonus. Great for Irene Aldana. That was our pick. We move on. Spooky fucking hours. I knew this was going to be terrifying. Dustin Jacoby versus Alonzo Atomic Menafield in a light heavyweight bout. This was a good dog. This is a good dog pick. Dustin Jacoby, like I was saying, is fucking terrifying, man. And the dude has extremely crisp striking. His technique is crazy. He was feeling extremely confident. And it bled into cockiness. It bled into straight arrogance. What it came down to was Alonzo could take the shots that Dustin was giving him, and Dustin couldn't take the shots that Alonzo was giving back. Alonzo was hurt multiple times. There was a point where I thought the fight was actually going to be finished. I thought Alonzo was going to get TKO'd. But he recovered, man. He recovered, was a little cut, a little bleeding, dug deep in that shit, cracked Dustin Jacoby multiple times, sat him down a couple times. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Alonzo, for pulling through for me again. Brother, I've been following you for a minute. We move on. Oh, God, heartbreaking. Jesus Christ, heartbreaking. Just got to get right into it. Featherweight bout. Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell versus Josh Emmett. I had Bryce Mitchell, I knew about his weakness being his striking, but honestly, I don't think anyone, even if you predicted the knockout, you wouldn't have predicted the aftermath. That was absolutely brutal, heartbreaking. Possibly, it's a contender for knockout of the year. It's a contender for knockout of the year. I'm not going to say possibly knockout of the year, even though that's kind of what contender means by definition, but contender for knockout of the year. On the other side of the coin, absolutely heartbreaking for Bryce Mitchell, man. You don't want to see, you don't like seeing that happen to a dude. Even if you like seeing dudes get knocked out, you actually like the violence. You even want to see dudes get hurt, stuff like that. That might change his life, man. And I saw an update from Bryce saying he was good, and respect to Josh Emmett and all that good stuff. But please, Bryce, my brother, take some time off. Take all the time you need. Hit the pads a little bit, type shit. Hit the pads a little bit. Just rest up, brother. I hope you're okay, man. Sincerely, speedy recovery. Hope you're absolutely fine. Josh Emmett, congratulations, my brother. That was an amazing victory. I literally screamed. Threw up my eyes, covered my face. It was horrible. Well-deserved performance of the night bonus for Josh Emmett. Moving on to the first of two sacrificial bouts. First of two sacrificial bouts being Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett. Now, a lot of people are saying, obviously Paddy violated. He did his thing. Which he did. He did his thing. But I really wasn't too impressed. In fact, I was actually more impressed with Tony. I felt like this fight was better for Tony, even though he lost, than it was for Paddy. People were expecting Paddy to go out there, finish Tony Ferguson brutally. They were not expecting this fight to go to decision. This fight shouldn't have gone to decision. Paddy had the right idea, blitzing, using the youth, using his athleticism to his advantage. But Tony was surviving on his back. He even looked okay. That's what I'm saying. He looked okay. And again, it's Tony fucking Ferguson, so it's not the biggest surprise in the world, but we're just talking about trends, current events. Tony obviously hasn't been doing the best. But there were times where Paddy wasn't, I'm not going to say struggling, but it was not a walk in the park. It was not a walk in the park by any means for Paddy Pimblett. This was a fight. It was a fight. Paddy got the win. He did what he had to do. I'm very, very interested in seeing Paddy Pimblett actually face real competition. I also think he's going to get violated. I think it's coming. I was thinking of a lot, Paddy's pretty tough. Maybe people are saying he's worse than he actually is. I think Paddy's mid-highs. Actually, I should say high-mids. He's high-mids. But not in this fight. Not in this one. This one he was straight mid. Straight fucking mid. And that's just me being honest. Good win for Paddy Pimblett. It was my pick. You know, I felt like you could not pick Tony Ferguson in good faith. Excuse me. At least not the same way that you could pick Stephen Thompson and maybe argue. You know, maybe he has the takedown defense and he can like get a little head kick in, something like that, you know. That made sense. But hey, Paddy got it done. You know, and it wasn't like a fucking war or a scrap. You know, he got it done. It was decisive. You know, I don't want to say absolute domination, but it was decisive. But just not as decisive as it should have been. You know, it wasn't a finish. Like, other people had to decide that fight in your favor. And we're going to come back to that concept, actually, in a bit. Moving on to the final sacrificial bout. And these fights flew by. This actually felt like one of the fastest cards I've ever seen. Welterweight bout, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Shavkat Nomad Rachmanov. I was trying to tell people, they speak of Shavkat in hushed tones in dark, smoky rooms. Like, it's terrifying when this man's around. Stephen Thompson, obviously an exalted figure in MMA. Everyone kind of knew how this fight was going to go. Basically, the odds on fucking Tony Ferguson and Paddy Pimblett were doubled in each direction for this fight. And Stephen Thompson actually held off crazily. Takedown defense, amazing. Literally, takedown defense of a fucking 25-year-old man. Like, seriously. It was absolutely beautiful. Shavkat just is that good. A lot of people might say they're not impressed with Shavkat. I said myself, I'm not fully sold on Shavkat. Now I'm fully sold on Shavkat. No, maybe not fully, but let's say if I was at like 70% before, I'm at like 87, 90 now. Good win for Shavkat. But Shavkat, again, we need to see Shavkat actually fight someone a little bit closer to maybe his level. No disrespect to Stephen Thompson, but someone a little closer to age range, you know, contention, potential. You know, because we've seen Stephen Thompson, you know. It's not like it's highly unlikely he's just going to go on an absolute tear and, like, fucking grab the belt and defend it a couple times, you know. Moving on to the co-main event. Wonderful. Brandon Royval challenges Alexandre Pantoja. I learned how to say his name, Alexandre. That's one of the only names I've ever struggled to say in my entire life. Alexandre Pantoja, the cannibal. Excellent nickname. The champion defended his belt. He defended his belt. I think people were saying that Alexandre Pantoja put in like a disappointing performance or something like that. I have to question if we were watching even the same fucking fight. Yes, he got a little gassed. Not even a little. He got gassed. He was starting to get gassed. But he dug deep. He dug so fucking deep. He dug so deep. Man was beating Royval with the feet. Man was beating Royval on the feet and on the ground, bro. While the more gassed fighter. Brandon Royval looked fresh. Literally fresh up until the last round. And even in the last round, while he still looked good, while everyone's like, oh, Pantoja gas. Brandon he looked like he was dominating the fight. Like, what? Who? The motherfucker was screaming and grunting trying to get up, while Pantoja, gassed, literally heaving, is just holding him down. Get shit on. Just get shit on, bro. Like, now that get shit on is not to Brandon Royval. That get shit on is to people saying Pantoja looked washed. That's what it is. Alexandre, great title defense, brother. Tremendous pick again. Moving on to the final fight, the main event, the welterweight title bout. The challenger, Colby Chaos Covington versus Leon Rocky Edwards, defending his belt. Not dog shit, not as dog shit as everyone says it was, but it was low mids. It was really low mids. Not lows. The fight wasn't lows, but low mids. Colby is washed. He's washed. It's tough. Father Time is undefeated. Leon, however, that really my problem is with Leon, and I fucking picked Leon. My problem is, I don't understand, or take that back. I understand being content to go to a decision, like not wanting to take the risks. But the thing is, Leon looked good. He looked really good, right? He looked so good that I thought he was like stalking him. I thought he was stalking Colby. He was waiting to trap him against the cage, waiting to time him and fucking gonna put him away. With possibly a nice little just 1-2 straight down the pipe. Just fucking send him on his way. But no. This man Leon's actually picked up not a new trade actually. It's not a new trade by any means. I just kind of have been a little bit of recency bias. My son Leon hitched up the wagon, packed it full of decisions, and he's on his way to sell them. Fucking decision merchant, bro. I do not like when people don't fight with like a sense of urgency. Like, I get you're defending your title. I'm not going to tell a man how to defend his title. It's his title to defend. But don't, like, fuck the judges. Don't even let them do their job, literally. Like, I don't understand how you could be so content relying on other people to judge the fight in your favor just based on that concept, you know? Like, as a fighter, you should just be trying to finish the fight. Like, I know people would say, oh, as a fighter, you're not a fighter. Shut the fuck up. You can't be doing that shit, bro. You can't be doing that shit. Leon, that fight was not good for you. It really wasn't good for Colby, but my brother, that was not like a tremendous performance for you. And you were saying, yeah, I wanted to finish him. It bothered me that I couldn't finish him after the stuff he said about my dad. Did it though? Like, I said that as soon as you said that. I was like, did it though, really? Like, didn't seem like it. Didn't seem like it at all. It seemed like you were very content to, in fact, lay on your back for the last half of the last round. I might be misremembering the time a little bit. And Colby was content with just basically holding you there too. He was throwing some some slaps on you, but that was it. But Leon, you were chilling, brother. You were chilling. You were like, all right, this one's over. I'll ride this one out. And I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that. I think if you go up against a dude who's really content with putting you away, it's gonna be spooky for you, my brother. Your striking looked crisp, but I think when you look that good, if your striking looks that good, use it the entire time. Use it the entire time. I get proving a point. I get taking him down maybe for the 1 time, maybe for the 2 time, really solidify it. But what are we doing here, man? If you're going to do that, right, you're going to go for takedowns to try to prove a point, why the fuck are you content with letting it go to decision? Why? Who knows? Only Leon knows. Only Leon knows for real. The man was talking crazy shit about your pops and you did nothing. That's ultimately what it comes down to. Some people might say that's fucked up. Leon, if you fucking watch this for whatever reason, if you were to hear this, I'm sure this might make you upset, but you should not be upset at me. Colby said that shit, and you had the opportunity to peep him in person. Like, you know, you could have handled it. You might have think that you handled it. But the reality of the matter is that disrespect wasn't addressed. You just beat the man in a professional mixed martial arts fight, you know, per the rules. That's really all I have to say about it. I went 7-5. Pretty fucking mid-lows, or low mids even. Hey, it is what it is. Honestly, the main event just, like, kind of killed it, really. It killed the whole vibe. It might even sound crazy to say, like, it almost killed the year, like, type shit. Just, like, now we gotta wait. Everyone's the last fights they've tasted, the last taste of combat that anyone's gonna get is this bullshit. Like, straight up. They can't even throw on another card. Just gonna have to wait for mid-January. Hey. Shit's tough. I hope you enjoyed the fights as much as I enjoyed the fights. They were good. They were very good, actually. It was a very good card overall. It would have been a great card if the main event was good. Prelims were amazing. Early prelims, fantastic. Except for Martin Buday, he just threw. He literally threw. He got scared, got violated. And to Yerlin Bekov, cheating rat bastard. But he's gonna get what's coming with him. Do not worry about that. He'll get what's coming. Leon, man. No one likes decision merchants. We don't do business with decision merchants, my brother. Shit's rough. Hope you get a good night's sleep. To you. Much love. Big kiss.